So I went to undergrad at Virginia Tech, studied math and economics. I was also a member of the Corps of Cadets in the ROTC unit. So when I graduated from undergraduate college, I commissioned in the Marine Corps. And I spent the last 8 years in the Marine Corps in different general management operations roles in Quantico, Virginia, Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii, as well as spent about a year living in Okinawa, Japan, which was really interesting. And then last August, I got out of the Marine Corps and I started pursuing my MBA here at the University of Texas at Austin. I felt like the Marine Corps challenged me really well physically and mentally. I had an absolutely amazing time, got to do some wonderful things and meet some amazing people, but I wanted more of a intellectual academic challenge. And looking at the various options that were out there, I thought an MBA, being able to be a leader in the business world like I had done in the military, was a really nice next step. In my career in the Marine Corps, I was going to go to a different version of school, and I thought that was a natural inflection point for me to either choose to stay in the Marine Corps or get out and pursue the MBA. So I think from a timing perspective, it worked out really nice, and I was just really fortunate to achieve all of the goals that I wanted to during my time in the Marine Corps, and I was very confident and very comfortable with the decision to get out. Even though I loved it so much, I thought it was time to move on. I think the military gave me a lot of the soft leadership skills. So coming into the program, although I had a math and economics undergraduate degrees, I hadn't used them in about 8 years. So I wanted to take more hard skill quantitative classes. So I've been trying to focus more on business analytics, finance, and accounting classes. So I really start to build that business foundation. And then a little bit of strategy classes, which has been interesting to see how business strategy and some military strategy are very similar, but they're also very different. So that's where my focus of effort has been thus far in the program. Definitely leadership, being able to communicate well, I think is definitely a skill that translates rather from the military to the business world. I think time management and prioritization, understanding what is important, what do we need to focus on, both in the MBA program, but I can definitely see how it translates into future business opportunities that I'll have, is understanding what's important right now, what can we hold off on to deal with later on. I think the biggest challenge that I've had is networking. In the military, networking is some part of it, but really you get orders and you show up to a different unit and you're expected to perform, and you really let your actions demonstrate what you're capable of. Now outside of the military, it's been a little bit more telling people what I'm capable of and the things that I've done before, which has been difficult for me because a lot of people in the military are not comfortable talking about themselves. I think a lot of us try and pride ourselves on being very humble. And there's a fine balance of remaining humble, but also communicating to potential employers what you're capable of and the impactfulness of your career in the military and what you can bring to that organization. Yeah, I think some of the similarities that exist there is just being able to identify all the different options that you have and then weighing the risks of each of those different courses of action and the next steps that follow with them, and getting feedback from the people that work for you or the people that work above you, and evaluating, laying out everything, and then collectively coming together as a team to make the best decision. There's a lot of unknowns, there's a lot of uncertainties in both the military operations as well as in the business world, so I think there's a lot of parallels there. What are our options, what are the risks and rewards, and then what are the next steps that we have to take, and then understanding that you're never going to have a perfect decision, and you're never going to have all the answers that you need, but you have to move forward with the information that you have at the time. There were a couple things. First was the veterans program. I wanted to be somewhere where there was a strong veterans community network. The reputation of the University of Texas as well as the McCombs School of Business were huge as well. I think something that I didn't appreciate enough coming into the program is that you're not just a student at the MBA program, but you're also a graduate student at whatever university you go to. So being able to leverage the resources and the network that exists at the University of Texas at Austin was a huge component. And then being in Austin, Austin's a growing city. A lot of people come here and having the opportunity to live here for 2 years. It seems like a lot of companies are also moving to Austin. And when they come back, they want to hire people from McCombs. And finally, I would say most importantly, is the people in the community. McCombs, throughout my application process and through my first year, has really prided itself on being a collaborative, not competitive culture where everybody supports each other in achieving your goals. And whatever you want to do here, the program office, the professors, your peers have supported me, and we support each other, and which has been a really just wonderful place to come to school every day for the first year. And I'm really excited to go back for my second year to be able to be around that type of people. When I got accepted to the program, I had a really good friend who was in another MBA program. He told me that there's 3 aspects of an MBA life. There's a personal aspect, there's a professional aspect, and there's an academic aspect or component. And he said you can only choose 2 out of 3 of those at a time. So with that in mind, I came in my first semester. I was focused on my academics, and I was focused on professional, which was networking and getting internship interviews that I wanted. That also kind of carried into the spring until I was able to secure an internship for the summer. And then at that point in time, I was able to shift my priorities to be more personal and more academic. I still wanted to do well academically, but once I had an internship, I was able to shift to enjoying some of those different things that I just talked about in Austin. So it's just, I think, important for people to understand what's important to them, what they want to get out of their journey. And 2 years is a very short period of time, but it's also a pretty long period of time. So you have to have a plan coming in to maximize the opportunities and take advantage of everything. And I think having an understanding that I could only focus on 2 out of those 3 things, again, personal, professional, or academic at any one given time, allowed me to really focus my efforts on what I was doing. I did. I was pretty confident that I wanted to go into consulting when I got out of the military and when I was starting my MBA. I think from what I heard coming into the program, there's a lot of similarities with consulting. In the military, on a daily basis, we were solving complex, challenging problems with small groups of very talented people. And that's what consulting was explained to me as. And as I've gotten to know different firms and learn about the industry more, I would say that's very, very true. The other thing that I really like about it is it gives you a good introduction and breadth and of exposure to different industries and functions. Coming from the military, there's a lot of areas that I don't know a lot about in the business world, and consulting has kind of allowed me to start looking into all those different industries and functions so I can figure out what I want to do post-MBA, post-consulting even as well. I'm definitely keeping my options open as much as possible. I think something about the MBA program is I've come to realize how many opportunities, how many different industries and functions and companies are out there, and I want to just continue to learn. I think the interesting thing about learning is the more you learn about a topic, the more you realize how much you don't know. So that's definitely where I'm at, as I continue to learn how much I don't know about topics. And what that looks like is, you learn about a topic and you want to do a little bit more research, and that keeps coming up. So I'm been very happy with the consulting journey thus far, and I think that is the path for me moving forward. But it's also a way for me to just keep learning. And I enjoy learning. I enjoy challenging myself. It's one of the reasons I got out of the military, is to challenge myself, like in that intellectual academic way that I talked about. So I think it's a good path for me moving forward, but I'm always exploring and keeping my options open so I don't miss anything. I'd rather close doors for myself and get an opportunity that I say no thank you to, rather than allowing other people to close them for me. So I'll keep exploring as much as I can and learning as much as I can until the right path shows up. But right now I'm very happy with the path that I'm on. I think the military does such an amazing job getting you the experience that you need, the leadership, the decision making, the ability to operate in uncertain and what we call kind of chaotic situations. I think if you're thinking about the transition, you just need to have confidence in the experience that you've had. And then the challenge becomes, how do you communicate it most effectively? And I think that's really where people need to focus as they make the transition, is how do you take the verbiage, the jargon, all the acronyms that come from the military and communicate them to business schools in a way that still allows you to get across the significance or impactfulness of your service. And I think as you look at different schools, reaching out to the veterans programs at those schools is the best way to do it. I'm part of the Texas Veterans in Business, which were the veterans groups at Texas McCombs, and we love helping veterans do that exactly, because I think veterans will do extremely well in the business world. There's a lot of translatable skills. It's just having the confidence in yourself and in your service, as well as taking that first step to reach out and ask for help, I think is huge. So that'd be my recommendation.